I always love to hear you talk in your own language and then interpret for English so that we can hear the cadence of both languages and understand. We have another speaker from the Sikh tradition, Gurdeep Singh. He's going to speak a little bit about, I believe, the political situation for Sikhs. Is that correct, Gurdeep? Sorry? Talk a little bit about the political situation for Sikhs? Great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice to see you. I see some faces here and there. I'm gone to some of the events that Interfaith has organized, and I always enjoy it. It's always a pleasure, and it's a great job that you do. I can't just say that this is very appropriate time to do what we do here, what you're doing here, because if you look back in history, all those times were not any better than this time, but the work has to be done. I just want to talk about a little bit of, like Mr. Lamba, he talked about Sikh faith and the perspective, political perspective right now. But the thing is, I've been here in this country over 25 years, and we have gone to a lot of events like this for public awareness, organized by Boy Scouts or Interfaith and all that. Most of the time when I ask someone or they ask me who I am, most of the time they don't know about Sikh religion. They don't. It's the 5th largest religion of the world after Christianity, Islam, Judaism. And the thing is, and in this day and time, there could have been a hard time. Someone needs to go find a book, even if they know there is a religion called Sikhism, go to library, find a book if there is. But these days, everyone has information in the palm of their hand. You just look it up. But still, people don't know. So I thought I should tell you a little bit about it so you can tell your friends and families that these people exist. Sikhs have fought in World War I, World War II, fought for freedom of others. Sikhs have fought a war that is noted in military history, that one of the war that is not methodological war. 20 soldiers fought 10,000 Afghans in World War II. They never gave up their post. They were all killed there, but they never left. But nobody knows about it. There are statues and monuments, if you go in Europe, in France, Belgium, everywhere, in villages, of Sikh soldiers, and carry out the mission that the way Sikh faith started is where the Sikhs are right now. Humanitarian cause. Sikhs are out there on a ground zero in Syria, where the bullets are being fired left and right. They're not soldiers. They're not equipped with weapons or anything. What they're equipped with is food and water and clothes for children. As we speak, the Sikh aid, Khalsa aid, they work there. So what I think is, just briefly, if I tell you the history of the Sikhs, when there were already faiths like Christianity, Islam, and all that, why were there is a need all of a sudden 500 years ago for Sikhism or Sikh another way? Not to say that others were wrong or anything, but I'm going to take you back a little bit, like 2,000 years in that region of India. Like Mr. Lamba, he mentioned, in those times, like early, like a 3rd or 4th century in recorded history, that India started getting attacked or invaded by foreigners from Middle East, Persia, Greece, Afghanistan, and Alexander. He actually went there too, and then Genghis Khan, his family actually ended up setting up empire there in like 13th, 14th century. So the times of those invasions, if I can summarize it, these tribal leaders, they will go down there through Afghanistan, Dara Khyber Valley, and they will just start looting people, killing them, burning mercilessly, and committing such a heinous crimes that you can't even fathom that they did, enslaving children, women, taking them to sell them as slaves back in their homes. This has gone down for 1,000 years. And you don't see anything notable happening in the history of that region to put a stop to that. Now, these people, are suffering from this. Just imagine that, suffering from this as foreign invasions. Then there are other problems, social problems, economic problems. People are they are divided into these caste system that some are here. Brahmins, they are the highest one, okay? And then there's a Kshatriya who's supposed to defend them, but nobody's defending. These invaders are coming. And then there is Vaishnav, they do farming and all that. And then the lowest of the lowest, the Shudras, untouchables, meaning their very existence, human being existence, is not even recognized. Now, religiously, those people have no right to worship, forget about worship, even to say a word of God. They are not allowed to hear it. If somebody finds them, they're listening to hymns or something coming from a temple or something, they would be given a sentence that you can't even think. They will melt the copper in their ears. If they're saying it, they cut their tongue. This is how they are being exploited. This is the society. And women have no right. They are being called, they are the root of the evil, there are different names, you name it. So this is the picture of that time for 1,000 years. This is going on and on and on. And now these people even have established their own empire there. Like Dr. Lamba mentioned, Babur, he established it. These were the times of first Sikh Guru, 15th century. He was born into this world, that kind of atmosphere. From his very childhood, he was born in 1469. He didn't accept anything, whatever was established as a social system or religions or whatever. And he condemned that, if you cannot provide these people a decent living, whatever you are practicing is not religion. That's probably lost somewhere. So he tried to revive, a man or a being that he can create a society that what he sees 1,000 years, how you can put a stop to that and connect people with God. So he traveled about 20,000 miles all directions from northern region of India, Punjab, on his feet with one companion, and he was a Muslim magician. He had a music instrument with him, and to do what? To create a dialogue, to initiate a dialogue with these so-called religious leaders, social leaders, political leaders like kings and emperors, he went and met with them. And everywhere he went, he found the humanity is being crushed, and people are not living the way God intended them to live on this planet. So, of course, it's not just easy said and done. When something's established for centuries and you tell them that are different, they're not going to take you easily. Of course, he was opposed and everything. And this was the time, actually, when the invasion, this invader, Babur, that the cruelty and this brutality that he's seen, and he put it, it's called Babur Bani. It's in the holy book that depicting those events, like how the political system was, the social system was, and he actually challenged people that you have to stand up for yourself. But because when these people will go to the temple or wherever the praying God and tell those people that save us, these people are taking our children and all that, they'll just simply say to them, just pray to God and we will pray to God. Close your eyes, and either those invaders will be blinded and they will kill themselves and you will be saved, or somebody will come from the sky to save you. So, meaning people over the years were made so coward they didn't have even courage to stand up against if somebody is taking their own daughter or woman. So, he didn't just tell people to stand up, get the sword in your hand and start fighting, because then he knew that they are also going to turn the same way those invaders are. Because sword is not very easy to get in your hand unless you know what is that made for. So as the history is, it took him 239 years as a second Guru Angad, then his light into third, and the fifth in 10th form in April 1699, when he baptized, he asked just the very thing first Guru said, that this is the game of love. He told people, if this is the game of love, I'm telling you, this is the path that I'm creating. You got to put your head on your palm of your hand if you want to walk on this path. So that's what it was in 1699. He asked that, I need someone who can lay down their life for freedom, to live. So there was a gathering of about 10,000 people, and only 5 stood up. And those are called 5 beloved ones. This is the shape that he given, that you don't cut your hair, you wear a turban, you ride a horse, you have to wear a sword. He said these people for thousands of years who are hiding when somebody's attacking themselves, I'm going to give you an outlook that you can hide yourself in even hundreds and thousands of people. You have to fight for yourself and others. Your sword is not to kill, it's for mercy. That's the kirpan. Sword is called kirpan in Punjabi. Kirpan meaning giving mercy. How is that? It's those people who are cruel, who are killing other people, to kind of correct them with that sword. There is no other way. It is a fact that peace only sustains with sword. So if you read the history, or even glimpses of the history of Sikh history, what you're going to find in especially the late 17th and 18th century, whole 100 years, you are not going to find anything but blood. That people who are ruling that state, that country, for 1,000 years, in 100 years, Sikhs following the Guru's path, not only uprooted them from India, But they went through that Dara Valley and ruled Afghanistan and showed them how to be a ruler, which is not imaginable. The thing is, the only thing Sikhs have never left is what they were taught, that it's like live and let live. Very simple message. You pray to God, you work hard, honest living, and you share. Those are the three pillars of Sikh way of life. But along the way, when you read history, it's not easy said and done. There's one Holocaust of Jews, but Sikhs have many. Nobody knows about it. In mid 18th century, the gap of 20 years, there are two great massacres, genocides. In one of them, what were they doing actually? Why were they fighting? They would go out of their homes, take their children and all their family and hide in jungles and fight this guerrilla war. For who? For those people who were coming, looting, taking the temples, their money and women, and all, for them, to protect them. And in one of those days, when the sun rises, and it's 1762, sun rises until the sunset, 30,000 Sikhs, women and children were killed. But their men were defending them, in a circle, made a fort, human fort. And believe it or not, that was the half of the population of Sikhs in one day, massacred. But what did they do? Within a few months, they went after him again. Now imagine that. With whose courage and what? Now, the time period that I told you, what is going to really astonish you, about 340 years, Sikhs were fighting. This time that I told you, there were 2 million Sikhs killed or died. But in the modern history right now, I can tell you, in last 70 years or so, in so-called free country that Sikhs freed, there 1.5 million Sikhs were killed, from children 6 months old to elders like 70 or 80-year-olds. But the world doesn't know about it. The very interfaith, the example of the interfaith is, like Mr. Lamba said, is the Holy Book. It's not just, Sikhism is not nothing, it's not any organized religion or anything, it's a way of life, to be very simple, to live and love each other and help each other. You respect others and you protect others if they need help. And this is what gurus have taught Sikhs. That's how the Sikhs became. That's where the need was there. And it's not the fights. There is a great example, I have given that many times, that one or the second or third battles that 10th Guru was fighting, one of his Sikh, when there was a sunset, they stopped fighting. One of the Sikh was given water to the wounded. His name was Bhai Kanhaiya. And he was giving water to everyone, regardless. The enemies or there or whatever, who were the other side. And Sikhs went and complained about him to Guru that, we fought all day. We are trying to, get rid of them, these bad guys. And he goes out and he gives them water. And they still live and fight with us the next day. And when he was asked, he said, Guruji, I don't see anybody else in anybody, nothing else but you and God. I don't see it. So that's the prime example of you see God in all or you don't see at all. And Guruji told him, okay, he said, continue, but make sure you take a first aid kit with you too. And that was the fine example. This was 300 years ago. That's the example of Red Cross. And that's what those Sikhs I just mentioned doing wherever the humanity is suffering, in Syria, Afghanistan, wherever. So that's what we are supposed to do. Sikhs have done this regardless, not anybody else. Our gurus have given their lives for others. Sikhs have given lives for others. They try to show the world how the ruler should be. The 50 years of period from 1800 to 1849-ish, to how to rule those people in that army. There were commanders from France, from everywhere, and Muslims and Hindus and Christians, and not one example you can find in that period that anybody suffered, or any mosque was attacked, or temple was destroyed, or holy book was torn apart. Rather, they have bailed those for others who needed it. But the thing is that the truth is, the history is, that didn't last much. Because when Mughals were, flushed out, and Sikhs tried to show them, here, the British came from other side, with the help of, the Hindu Rajas and all that, and they, not by fighting, treacherously, took away that empire. And then Sikhs have to fight again for almost 100 years until 1947, when British were flushed out of there. But Sikhs still are not free. World doesn't know. Like Mr. Lamba said, they don't even recognize us as Sikh. In Constitution, that Sikh delegate didn't even sign it. They said, we don't want to sign this. They said, we don't care. So legally, Sikhs don't have to follow that Constitution because they didn't sign it. But it's imposed on them. So now, the Sikhs who fought for all over the world for freedom for others, they're kind of slaved in India. But the world doesn't know. They might need help. Like international voice from UN. But it's not just about the freedom. They can fight for their freedom, the human right violations, to label your child as soon as your child is born as terrorist or separatist. Why? Because you're Sikh. Your very existence is a crime. They can arrest you. Just all they have to see that say you're a terrorist or to be a terrorist or potential terrorist. So this is the kind of history in a nutshell, and politically what's going on, what's happening with Sikh community, and it's very fortunate that we feel that you can't really talk like this in India. You can't. You will be put in jail, sedition cases, this and that. But this is the land, truly land of the free. This is how the rule was imagined, more or less. Whatever, we have our political issues too, but at least you can get together, you can express yourself, you can express your religious feelings with others, political opinions, So I really appreciate it, giving me the opportunity to talk about our faith and to be the part of what you guys do. I'm always there for help. Whenever, call me. Thank you very much for your time.